What does it take to future-proof a brand in a world that won't stop changing? On this episode of the RebelRebel podcast, I'm joined by JP Lacroix, visionary designer and president of Chickatani Lacroix. He's here to talk strategy, storytelling, and why brands that adapt win. This episode of the RebelRebel is brought to you by my book, BrandJitsu. I've spent over 25 years in the trenches helping artists, entrepreneurs, and brands stop being ignored. I took everything I've learned, the wins, the hard lessons, the frameworks that actually work, and I put it into one book. It's called BrandJitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable, and it'll help you tell your story in a way that people actually remember. Get it at your favorite bookstore or visit brandjitsu.com. Welcome to the RebelRebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargy, and somewhere around the world, we're going to find out where. I've got JP Lacroix. JP, how the heck are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'm excited about spending some time with you, Michael.
Likewise. I've been so excited since our paths first crossed because I feel like we're kindred spirits and maybe brothers from another mother in some sort of way. But where are you located in the world? Where are you calling from?
Today, I'm calling you from our head office in Toronto, downtown Toronto, in the old Cinema District, where our offices are located in the old Opera House.
Oh,
and
wow.
So talk about, in our backyard, we have a garden, a beautiful gated garden, and that's where the Umbrella Academy movie was filmed.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's a great place.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a crazy flex. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that show too. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about that for a second. Like, what is it that you're doing? What is your business? What's the thing that you do? And I know that you have a really cool book that we're going to talk about as well, but catch me up on all things JP.
Okay. So Michael, we've been in business 35 years. And so that's a long-standing for a brand transformation agency in Canada. We'd probably be one of the oldest privately owned. And we help organizations around the world manage risk in change. And so when companies come to us, let's say it's Dairy Queen in the US, and they say our sales are down, our food sales are down, we're not selling, what do? We come in and look at the entire customer journey, who they're going after. And then we'll reinvent the company with, in their case, it was DQ Grill and Chill. Yeah. And they've generated significant growth for the last 15 years through our program. So we help those organizations, and we do it in the banking. So I always say to my audience, the odds are if you're in Canada, you come in contact with something we've designed at least once, if not twice, in your day.
Wow. Yeah. That is amazing. All right.
In the fame. Yeah. But that doesn't get you much. It's great. It's great in concept, but it doesn't garnish any more additional revenue.
Oh, that's wild. Okay, so I guess the obvious question before we get to the book part of this whole thing is, how did you end up here, JP? Like, where did you zig when others zagged? Why did you go left when others went right? Like, what happened and when? All
right. Well, I grew up on a farm. So in Chesterville, which is just south of Cornwall. My dad was he was in the Air Force. I grew up on an Air Force base. When he came back to Canada, he was an independent entrepreneur, and then we ended up owning a farm. Wow. And so for a good part of my life, I was picking strawberries this time of the year, or potatoes. And then I said, you know what? This is not the life I want to have. This is definitely not where I want to end up. And so I applied. It was so funny. I applied to 2 universities. I applied to ROC, which is in Kingston. That's a military college.
Yep.
And I applied to Sheridan College to become a designer. So one was to be a pilot, and the other one was to go to Sheridan College and be a designer. And I said to my parents, I said, whoever accepts my application first is where I'm going. And wow. Sheridan responded. And by the way, ROC declined me. My scores were too low for them. So I went to Sheridan College.
Wow. And
I took a degree in graphic design and had some great, that was in 1978. I graduated. And then, I worked for a couple of firms in Toronto. Yeah. And then I moved to Montreal and worked for a firm in Montreal for 2 years. And then when I came back, I said, I'm tired of working for other people. I got to try this myself. And I started my first firm, Boulevard Communication, with my best friend, Ron Vandenberg. And we grew that puppy to be, we had 120 people in Toronto. We had an office in New York, an office in Vancouver, an office in LA. And we were the largest independently owned brand consulting firm at that time. But it was like the Beatles. I took on too many partners, and we all had different visions of the future. And I think in 1989, 1990, we parted company, and I started this company, Shikatani Lacroix, with one of the junior partners, Ed Shikatani.
Yeah.
He then since left about 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And so I've been running this company for 35 years, 25 of those years on my own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so much to unpack there. And so I got I was accepted to Sheraton School of Animation
Great school
back in the day. But here's the thing. Last minute, I decided not to do it because, and I think it was just, I was young, I was impetuous, I didn't want to draw like everybody else. I mean, this is just, maybe how long would that be? Maybe a decade before Glenn Keane, sort of reinvented the Disney, Tarzan kind of that style. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I've always thought, what would happen if,
you'd be getting credited for many of the Disney movies because what was amazing is that that school had one of the key Walt Disney animators teaching.
Yeah.
And it was the recruiting grounds for Walt Disney and many other, and I'm sure Pixel was the other one, Steve Jobs animation studio. It was recruiting from that school. But you know what? Fate, you go where you are, right? And I hear you've produced some award-winning movies. And so kudos to you. It all worked out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just it's funny when talking with people and the journeys that they go on, and it's just like, that's really cool. And I guess the question I have, I want to go back a little further in time if I could,
Sure.
Because I tend to, I don't know. Were you like, how do I rephrase it? Okay, I'm going to frame it this way. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a marine mammal biologist, but I couldn't concentrate in school. I would just draw and doodle. I had to have a pen in my hand and I had to be drawing when the teacher was teaching, and I always got in trouble for it, even though that's how I learned. Like I was a kinesthetic learner and I needed to be doing something to occupy one part of my brain so I could fill it with the other side. Do you have any stories similar to that, or like what were you like in school?
Yeah. I'm a geek by nature, creative geek by nature. And so I'm a sponge. So when I still remember when I was a young child, for Christmas, my father bought me this tank that had a battery in it and it was moving. And then he left, having dinner with my aunts and uncles. And while he's away, I got a screwdriver and I took it all apart. And I wondered, how did this thing work? And when he came back, he saw this thing just in a million pieces, right? And I go, I just want to know how it works. And I don't know if you're like me, but when I grew up, I was an avid model maker. I was making 1 or 2 models a week.
Wow.
And I still remember my grade 8 science project. I created this glider that was made out of pulse wood, and I put a jet engine on it, and I lit it up, and then the whole class, we watched it take off, and then it caught fire, and it just burnt.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, I was always, I'm an avid reader. I read feverishly. I'm enjoying reading your book, BrandJitsu. Great. And I'm definitely going to be asking you questions after this call on some of the insights in your book. But yeah, just I'm a firm believer in this philosophy. Be a sponge in life.
Yeah. Don't
be a rock. Be a sponge. Just absorb it all because you'll learn so much by willing to listen.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. Do you do, I love the fact that you're a reader, and we're going to unpack that soon enough, but do you do things, I've always found particularly creatives, and even entrepreneurs that are like trying to figure stuff out, I mean, curiosity obviously is number one on the menu, but do you do things to go out and explore and expose yourself to different things and ideas? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. So Michael, 10 years ago, I said, we do work globally, but we do most of our work in Canada and US. I said, we got to expand our horizon. The future is not actually in North America, it's in Asia. So guess what? We opened an office in China. We've had that office now for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to know where the future is, go to Asia because they are by far 10 years ahead of us, if not more than that.
Yeah.
And then we said, it's exciting. The Middle East is exciting because they're doing these in Dubai, these, huge projects. And guess what? So we have an office now opening soon in Oman. And we're going to be doing work in the Middle East. Well, we have done a lot of work in the Middle East, but now we're going to have a solid footing there. So I get my inspirations by traveling. I get my inspirations. That's where I wrote my book. 17 hours on a plane to China. It's a great time to just sit down and just write, right? Yeah. There's no distraction. You can't go on TV, just write. And so that's where I get my, that and reading. Yeah. I read at least a book a month, if not 2 books a month.
Wow.
And I enjoy reading.
Love that. I think one of the things that I've noticed for people who have been on this show and people that are making a mark and have done things differently, I find that the majority of them are global citizens, that it is you're not siloed in the place that you grew up and you've never left it. It's oftentimes when you leave, especially the comforts of North America, Canada is an island in and of itself. Like it is a pretty special place. The US is the same but different. But I think that once you leave North America as a North American and explore the rest of the world, especially how old it is and the history and cultures that are so different than our own, it tends to unlock things that we didn't appreciate before.
Yeah, it's sad. I agree with you. And I believe that if everyone was a global traveler, we wouldn't have the conflicts we have today.
Agreed.
I believe that you would, it's amazing. I'll go to meetings and we'll have conversations about, I was just in Portugal, I had my holiday, and somebody will raise their hand and say, you know what, I've never traveled to Europe. And I'm going, you're 40 years old and you've never been to Europe. Oh my God. And there is a segment of the population that never travels.
Yeah.
And then you look at the countries, the cultures that are innovative, right? That are game changers. And you look at the citizens, they're the biggest tourists. You look at the average Chinese consumer or the Australian consumer, they travel every year. They explore every year. And if you look at the real bright people in the US and in Canada, they're global travelers. They learn through experience, which is how we all learn. And so it's sad that more people are not traveling.
Yeah, agreed. I think that I had this aha moment the first time I went to Europe. We landed in Gatwick in the UK, and we had a layover there because we were heading to Italy. And I remember we were staying in like an Airbnb. And actually at that time, it was just a B&B. It's just a bed and breakfast. Airbnb didn't exist back then. But I remember we were walking over to a pub, which was in like an old church rectory, basically. And you had to walk through the cemetery to get there. And there was not one headstone that was past, I think, 1500. Like they were all older than that. And I was just like, I was gobsmacked because, again, like I had traveled throughout the US extensively and Canada extensively, but up until that point, it probably would have been early 30s when that happened. I hadn't experienced what it actually meant to be standing on, like, in that moment. Yeah,
it's just mind-boggling, and you go to Europe and you absorb that culture and you bring back some of the insights.
Yeah,
as creative minds, both of us are creative minds. We get our inspiration by connecting the dots. Like you see something somewhere, that triggers a thought, and then you see something else that triggers another thought, and all of a sudden you've got a new idea, right?
Right.
And my staff hate it when I travel because they know when I come back, I'm going to have 5 different projects for them to work on. There's GP, like hopefully he's not going to come back with 5 projects. But yes. Or if I read a book, like I was just reading, before starting reading your book, I was reading a book, A Market of One.
Oh.
And it's all about positioning. But there were some key insights in that things that we were doing that we need to incorporate. And that's my nature. For example, when COVID happened, I said to myself, we do this thing every year, Michael, where we do future trends. So every year we do an analysis of what are the trends emerging, what are the strong trends and weak trends.
Yeah.
And in 2017, I said, AI is going to be a big thing.
Wow.
And so while COVID was happening, I went to MIT and got a degree in artificial intelligence and its application to business.
What?
Before OpenAI was, OpenAI then was, you needed to know programming to use it. Like you had to be a programmer to use OpenAI because it was all algorithm that you needed to program. You didn't have the core you have now. And now look at AI is part of every element, today, like you're everything you're doing, it's either avert or subvert. The AI is involved.
Yeah. That's wild. So, okay, 2017, hey?
Yeah.
That is wild. And so I guess there's even more to unpack there. Oh man, this could go on for hours, this interview. So, or there's going to be a part 2 and part 3. Maybe that's how we'll deal with this. But so my eldest son was trying to get me on the AI bandwagon. He's a Python guy, and he got invited to the open beta 2020, and he was like, so that was sort of, I think, the beginning of the wave, the beginning of the crest of that wave.
Yeah.
So he became aware of it during the start of the pandemic. He was locked down in England with his wife. And so he started really getting into it. And yeah, it's incredible how far it's come, how fast it's come. The fact that, I use it on a regular basis, especially I use Perplexity for deep analysis and just trying to learn stuff. Give me it's almost like a Coles Notes generator. But that's wild. You got a degree in it. How do you use it in today?
Oh, we use it. So we do a lot of consumer research.
Yeah.
We'll leverage it for data analytics, to pull in some deep insights. We'll definitely do the human analytics, but then we'll use AI to say, okay, did we miss anything?
Yeah.
I use it in writing. So I'll write a story. Like right now, I'm blogging. I write 4 or 5 blogs a week. And so I blog a lot. So I'll write the blog and then I'll say, AI, okay, take this and give it this tone or give it this angle. And so it'll do that for me.
That's awesome.
We use it in brainstorming. So I'll say, and we use visuals. So we'll say, here are some scenarios. AI, give me some visuals of what those scenarios look like.
Love it.
And because a picture says 1,000 words, it triggers a whole bunch of other ideas that you would, because we're biased. We're an animal that's biased. We already have biases. And so what AI is doing is actually expanding our horizon. So there's an argument that says AI is going to make us dumber. Yeah, I think for the things that we shouldn't be doing anyways, it's going to make us, but it's also going to make us smarter because it's going to allow us to expand and overcome our biases on things, giving us new ideas and new insights. So I think there's a yin and a yang happening for AI. Is there going to be bad actors in AI? No different than the web has created bad actors. For sure. It's already started. That's just human nature. There's people going to see good in it, and there's going to people who are going to leverage it for the bad.
Totally. Do you build custom GPTs for yourself?
No, we haven't done that. But we have in our company, we have programmers. We have a platform we've created.
Oh, okay.
This cloud-based called Team Client, and it's a proprietary project management platform that tracks everything. It is
amazing.
There's nothing out there like it.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love the home world nature of it. I've done a lot of custom GPTs based on the brand work I do for companies, and then create their custom GPTs so their teams can be speaking in the same voice.
Yes.
And brainstorm and iterate that way, where you don't have to necessarily worry about the guardrails of your brand expression.
Yeah, Michael, it is a great tool. It becomes kind of your editor, your brand voice editor, and it kind of filters saying, hey, you need to say it this way or that way, and then you can make a decision if it's right. So it's an efficient use of the platform.
Yeah. What is your, okay, so a little segue here. What is on your bookshelf that you buy a book and you'll give it to somebody else? What is that like? Like, do you have that? Do you
Oh
do
yeah.
that for people?
I,
What is that book?
yeah. If you came into my office, you would see hundreds of books. And those are the books that I've read that I haven't given out to. Um, you know, there are two ways there's entertainment books. So
Yeah.
on a holiday, I'll read, Foundation by Osmos, or I'll read a book on how to. So your book, BrandJitsu, I'm looking forward to reading it because there's a lot of how to things. And I use this as a check mark to say, are we doing this the right way?
Yeah.
Or is there something I've overlooked that we need to look at? And it's about relevance. So if you said, JP, what's driving you?
Yeah.
What's your biggest fear? Is becoming irrelevant. It's ensuring that whatever you're doing is relevant today and in the future. And so reading is a great tool. Yes. Do I give the books to my staff? Yeah. There's one called the book on brevity. There's a great book on brevity. There's too much information that we're generating.
Right.
And so if you read my book, the fundamental of how I structure the book is based on brevity. So headline, one liner that captures the attention of what they're going to read, a paragraph that introduces the entire section,
Yeah.
the section, and then a summary of that section, and then the action items.
Love it.
And that was based on brevity, reading the book brevity. So that triggered a different way of writing the book.
Well, so let's talk about your book. So the book is Think Blink.
Yeah.
And there is another book of a similar name that, maybe nibbled,
Yeah.
but didn't devour. So let's talk about your book.
Yeah. So my book, Think Blink Manifesto, is and it was written to provide my employees, the team, and our clients and future clients. How do we approach branding? How do we approach transformation? Why is emotion so important?
Yeah.
And it's also putting a stake in the ground. So I coined the phrase the blink factor in 1993.
Damn.
We were doing work for Pizza Hut in the US, and we're launching a new concept called Pizza Hut Cafe, which is out now, but that's us. And we're listening to customers talking in focus groups, talking about, well, I go to the Red Roof. And I'm going, why are you calling it Red Roof? Why aren't you calling it Pizza Hut? And they're going, well, I look for the red roof.
Sure.
And that's how I find it. And so I did some research and found out that emotional connections are drawn visually through your heart, and that color and shape are key drivers of that emotional connection. So I coined the phrase the blink factor. I registered in 1996. I was writing my book in 2003 or 2002. And guess what? Malcolm Caldwell came out with the book Blink, and I went, oh my God, somebody beat me to the punch. Now, his book is a little bit different. It's about first impressions. Mine's more about creating the emotional connection and how does a brand leverage the tenets to drive that.
Yeah. And
so I launched a book called Belonging Experience, which is one of the tenets of the book. And then about a year ago, I said, I got to go back. I shouldn't be fearful because somebody else wrote a book called Blink. I shouldn't walk away from the fact we invented and pioneered the emotional connection. Before people even knew what that was, we were in doing it.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't have to be a client. What's your favorite brand? Like, who do you resonate with? Who do you connect with?
Well, my brands are ones that help me aspire. So I'm a Mac guy, so I love Apple. Although I think they've lost their way. I'll be interested to see if they survive long term because they're like Sony. Sony was on the rise. They were the innovator in the category, and then they got complacent. Apple absorbed them, but Apple's not really at the top end of the trends when it comes to AI. That's for sure. We'll see if they buy Perplexity or not. But Apple, I would say, I like Nike. I like Company and Pentagon. Yeah, I like companies who are anchored in the emotional need state. They're answering an emotional need that we have. There's lots of features and benefits, but it's allowing us to be more creative. It's self-expression. It's the ability of bettering yourself. These are all emotional things that we're looking for. It's not that it's a better performance tool. It's what it does for you. And that's what excites me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I tried to be able to use a Nike ad in my book, actually, but I couldn't get the rights from Nike to add it. But it was one of their first ads ever, which was "There is no finish line," which I'm sure you're aware of. And that to me hits so hard. And they hit that emotional a 10 out of 10, really.
Oh, absolutely. What they've hit on is a deep emotional insight. And the insight is that fitness isn't something you do once. It's a journey you do that evolves as you get older, and that there is no finish line. And, the finish line is when you die. Really. There is one, but we don't want to talk about
it. That's for a different brand. Yeah. That's my funeral home brand. They're the finish line. Oh my God.
Yeah. We're the finish line for you.
Oh, there's some, we can mine that. Oh my goodness. So you're in Toronto. Let me ask you this. So you're walking down the waterfront.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, and maybe it's like one of those rare mellow days where it's not chaos, but it's like, you got Lake Ontario to your right. If you're walking east, I guess. Look at me geolocate stuff.
Or left if you're walking west. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're walking down the waterfront, and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, JP, I just wish the world knew this one thing." What is the one thing that you wish the world knew? It could be anything from the pineapple does belong on pizza to the Forfar cheese is the best to put on your poutine.
Okay. The one thing would be, we're emotional creatures. We don't reason. We feel. In brands that focus on the reasoning, or asking consumers to work hard, asking their brain to work hard at liking them. But if you resonate with your target group on the emotional level, you're making it easier for them to buy from you or to be loyal to you. And that is the key insight. We do probably 150, 200 projects a year. And so you get briefed. Yeah. Well, here are all the functional benefits of this product. Blah, 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 blah. We would like to highlight these 4 functional benefits because we think that those are the functional benefits that are going to drive the product. And we go, okay, so what are the emotional benefits? The what? I mean, the emotional benefits. So, they're buying this product because they have an emotional need for this product. What's the emotional need for this product? Well, I don't know. Well, do you understand that 80% of all buying decisions are emotionally driven? So you're targeting the 20% of your target group. What are you going to do with the other 80%? Hello. Yeah.
Oh, that's a game changer.
Yeah, it's just, there's comfort in numbers. I get that.
Sure.
And actually now with sentiment analysis tools, you can measure emotions, which is a great news. We've worked with a firm called Hot Specs, and they pioneered emotional research. And they have metrics and standards and benchmarks that you can evaluate for industries. Yeah. We use them in the banking industry, and they have a benchmark for the industry. So you can measure it now. But people always gravitate to what's familiar and what's comfortable, and it's the functional side of the equation.
Wild. Do you follow color trends?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and the Pantone color of the year, which was orange last year.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and I guess the question, jumps to my brain is that, the color is important, obviously, especially emotional connection to color, but it does change and shift over time. And you can use contrasting colors to, do different things. And it's a simple question. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is orange.
Okay.
Burnt orange. Yeah, burnt orange, because it's very, orange and yellows and reds, they're passion colors, and but I don't like red because red is also means stress, but I like orange because it has some of the red, the passion of red, but it's not as blatant. It's also aspirational orange is the sunrise. And so I love orange.
Cool.
And it's interesting, Michael, the reality is, yes, things change over time. home fashion changes, color schemes change from neutrals to grays to warm grays to beiges. We're in the beige phase right now for home fashion. But the reality is how those colors connect with us doesn't change. So blue means trust. It meant trust 1,000 years ago. It meant trust, 100 years ago. It's going to mean trust the next 100 years. Why is Royal Bank blue?
Yeah.
Trust, right? So understand, why is TD always talking about the environment? They were the ones that pioneered sustainability. 30 years ago? When people didn't even know what sustainability meant. What's their color? Green. Yeah, right. And so what's CIBC is red, and Scotiabank's orange, red. So, they're all colors that talk to certain need states, emotional need states.
Love it. I'm a big fan of colors found in nature as well. That's one of I think one of the most interesting ways to determine palette is to look around the world that you're in.
Yep, also. Absolutely. And there's a whole section in the book on color. There you go. Yep.
Awesome. Buy the book. Go to Amazon or wherever you buy your favorite book.
Yep. Amazon, Indigo, you name it, it's there.
Love it. So it is the Think Blink Manifesto.
Yeah. Blink Factor is the principle that drives the book.
Awesome. Okay. So do you live downtown Toronto or are you in the outskirts?
No, I live in the city. I live uptown. I live at Lawrence and Yonge.
Oh, very nice. What's your go-to place for, 3-part question. Go-to place for your coffee?
My go-to place is across the street here, Starbucks. Okay. And I love this Starbucks because the service is exceptional. And the staff, Harry and Indigo, are amazing. They recognize me. They know what I want. I don't even have to order it. They've already had it ready. Pastries. We have a French pastry shop just down the street from us called Sébastien. That's the name of his son. He's the baker. He's been the baker I've been there living in that neighborhood 25 years. He's been the baker there for 25 years.
Oh my goodness.
So, we're creatures that like familiarity. We like, not to think about things. We like rituals, right? That are familiar to us.
I would, up until maybe 2 years ago, coming on 3 years ago, we used to live in Kensington in Calgary, downtown. So it's sort of inner city. And I knew everybody in Kensington and I'm an introvert and I have social anxiety, believe it or not. But I just knew everybody along this. I'd go here at Pepino's for a sub. I'd, go over here for my coffee, like Higher Ground. I'd sit there and do my notes in the morning. And so I think we're creatures of habit and connection. So I guess the next question I have is, do you have your favorite restaurant that you go to in the Big Smoke?
Yeah. Monkey Bar.
Monkey Bar.
And the name, it's a family run business. The father owns it. Incredible food. But Monkey Bar is really the name because of his 2 children. He has a daughter and a son. And they played on the monkey bars, having fun. And he was thinking about what do I call my restaurant? And they called it Monkey Bar. So
love it. Oh, amazing. Okay. So next time I'm in Toronto, that's where I'm going to go.
On Yonge Street.
Monkey Bar on Yonge Street.
You're in my hood. If you come, let me know. I'll take you out.
All right. Done deal. 100%. I'm on a mission to ride my motorcycle across Canada again. So
what kind of bike do you have?
I have a problem. I have 4, but my favorite motorcycle is a 2022 BMW R1250 RT.
Okay. So big bike.
Yeah, it's a sort of like a sport tour bike.
Yeah.
And currently it's plastered with BrandJitsu Canadian book tour on it because I'm riding out to the West Coast this Friday to go and sign books and shake babies and kiss hands and shake babies.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, I wish you success on your book launch.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay. So what is the one thing that JP does for JP?
The one thing that JP does for JP is read and paint. So I'm an artist, so I paint. So watercolors, acrylic. If you come to my office and look on my wall, I have a watercolor of all of my European holidays.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. So when I go on holidays, it's easy. I have pencils and watercolor tubes, sketch pad, pencil, sketch, watercolor, just sit there and relax, take it all in.
Oh,
And that's the beauty of, if you paint, you're learning how to recognize things and how to pay attention to things, and how to take that information in, where the light hits the
yeah.
subject matter. It's all fun.
Oh, that's really cool. Oh my goodness. I I paint also, but I'm more abstract. I can't. Here's the weird thing. The disconnect is obviously what you see and what ends up on the page. Sometimes there's like, I don't know, there's some weird filter sometimes. And I
Yeah.
really do love it when people can actually paint what they see, because that it's a one-to-one interaction with the environment that they're in without the filter. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
What's your favorite place to travel?
Favorite place to travel? I have so many. I don't have one favorite. I would say anywhere where creativity and innovation is celebrated is where I go. So I love Shanghai. We have an office there. I
Yeah.
love just walking around, visiting the newest store. I mean, the Chinese, when they go big, they go really big.
Yeah.
They're not debating, oh, how much is this going to cost? And do we have enough money to fund this? And
Yeah.
they go, is this the vision, JP? Yes. Then build it, right? And go big or go home.
Wow.
Same with the Middle East. I love going to Dubai and looking at what's the newest store, what's the newest skyscraper, what does the wall look like, how
Yeah.
far they developed the wall. And I love Europe because Europe's about the history. Like we were debating last night, where do we go for our holidays in spring next year? And I said, I want to go to Florence. I want to go and see where Da Vinci, had all his models and his sculptures,
Yeah.
and so we'll see. I think I can convince my wife to go to Europe. That's where we'll go. Last year we went to Portugal. So,
Oh, how was Portugal? Where did you go there?
we went we went Porto, Lisbon, Algarve. I'd say go to the Algarves. It's a great area to relax. Great walking, great food. The people are beautiful people. They're the nicest people in the world. I would say Italians and Portuguese are the nicest people in the world.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's been on our list. We were thinking next year Greece or Portugal or Costa Rica is on our list as well.
Yeah. I'm not an island guy. I've done enough of the islands. No boat cruise, no islands. Done.
Yeah, boat cruise is out for sure.
Yeah.
My goodness. Here's a question I've never asked anybody, but I don't know why it's in my head. But do you? Such a weird question. Do you have a favorite texture? Like, have you ever, like, I find myself sometimes I like touching rough stone or things.
I like leather.
Tactile guy. Okay,
leather.
cool.
I like leather. I like the tactile feeling of leather. It's soft. It could be hard.
Yeah.
If you have it on a briefcase, it's rigid, but it's still tactile. So I love leather. All kinds. Yeah. And if you came here, you'd see. So one of the things I collect are briefcases. My wife will shoot me. Yeah. I have an incredible collection of briefcases. Yeah. So
that's really cool.
Okay,
do you ride motorcycles?
No. That's one thing, No, I like how my body parts on me.
That's fair. Are you a car guy, or are you just a transport A to B guy, or do you have like?
Yeah, no, I'm not a car guy. So what I am is I'm not a collector. So I love watches, but like I've got a Garmin here. It does all the job I need. I've got a collection of expensive watches that sit in my drawer that I never use, that I get as gifts. Yeah. But that I would say that was it. I'm not a big collector. Maybe a collector of memories more than a collector of objects.
Oh, I love it. What is next for you? Or is it or is this it? Like, and I don't mean this is it as in that's not enough. I just is this satisfy, or is there something else on the horizon?
There's nothing else on the horizon. I mean, opening this office in Oman is going to take a lot of my time and energy. Building an office, it always takes 2 or 3 years to get it to where you want it to be.
Yeah.
And then China just, they're going through some major financial struggles, no different than we are here in Canada.
Yeah.
And and so dealing with that, and obviously keeping an eye on what's going on south of the border, and hopefully we can resolve these issues and let's get back to normal. But I don't know if there is going to be a normal.
Yeah. We don't know.
No.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. They're great neighbors.
Yeah. It's so funny. And this is non-political whatsoever, but I like all my friends in the US are all just such lovely people that are just, somewhat bewildered, but hopeful.
Well, they bought the ticket. They didn't really understand what the ride was going to be like. So now they're getting a taste of the ride, which is fine. You know what? I'm not going to take sides, but there had to be a balancing act to happen. And I get that. So
yeah. Have you ever ridden a unicycle?
You know what?
Have you ever ridden a unicycle?
No. I've seen. Listen, there's a guy in my neighborhood who drives one, a unicycle. Okay. How they keep that thing going, and he's going up a hill on that thing. So, and how do you stop?
I don't know.
Oh God, scary!
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like bird scooters in Toronto?
Yeah, we have scooters all over, and it's scary because they don't follow any rules of the road. So they'll be scooting away at 25 kilometers an hour on the sidewalk.
Oh man!
And then cutting across cars. We just had a young gentleman yesterday get hit badly. I don't know if he's still alive. A young kid, because they're a pedestrian. If you're coming into an intersection in a car, a pedestrian, you can see they're walking. It's a slow motion. But if somebody's moving at 25 kilometers an hour, they're just a blink.
Yeah.
And
show up.
You're moving into the intersection. This thing is coming at a 25 kilometers an hour over the hood. Yeah. Not good.
Change of pace. What's the thing you're most proud of?
Most proud of my daughter, and my daughter is she's a naturopathic doctor, so she has her own practice. She's a spitting image of me. She's an entrepreneur. She just we have a grandson.
Congratulations!
9 months old, but she's 3 months into after the Marcus was born, she was back at work, working 3 days a week. I mean, that's just she's just like me, very passionate about what she does. And so it's great to see that some of that entrepreneurial energy has rubbed off my daughter.
Oh, love it. It's such a great answer. So there's these people in the world, JP. I call them rebels in waiting. Yeah. And these are maybe they're about to do it. Maybe they're in the middle of doing it. It's that, quintessential Wile E. Coyote moment where you step off the ledge before they look down and pull out the uh-oh sign. What advice would you give to these rebels in waiting to help them get to the next spot, whatever that happens to be?
Well, I'd say there's one word that I would tell them: persistence. The wall of Jericho didn't come down the first time they went around blowing their horns. It took many times. And very often entrepreneurs give up, just before they get there. I have an old saying that the darkest hour is the hour before sunrise.
Right.
Right. And so the toughest time is the time just before you become successful. Right. And so, because there's a certain ramp up that happens. So that would be my advice to the rebels: persistence. You're going to be thrown a lot of challenges, a lot of curveballs. And if you give up, you may be giving up too soon.
Oh, I love that. That is amazing advice. Rebels, I hope you take that. And just, one foot in front of the other. That is so good. JP, this has been amazing to have you on the show. I want a part 2. There's a whole other section that we need to dig into.
Okay, if you commit, I'm going to interview you on your book.
Oh, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm going to interview you on your book. I'm going to read your book. So by next week, your book will be read. and then we'll set something up, and then I'm going to give you a hard time on your book.
Okay, I love it. I'm down for it. And during that time, I will read your book, the Think Blink Manifesto. People, get this book, get into JP's head and figure this stuff out, because it happens in the blink of an eye. We make decisions. It hits us in the heart. JP, thanks again for being on the show. This has been wonderful.
Hey, Michael, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Hey, if you're an artist, scientist, entrepreneur, or business owner who wants a smooth and proven method to find, shape, and share your story with the world, head on over to BrandJitsu.com and order a copy of my book, BrandJitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. I've been your host, Michael Dargy, and this has been the Rebel Rebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, head on over to the RebelRebelPodcast.com and fill out the guest request form. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.